Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. It's already December, hard to believe. In our last video, at the end of the video, we talked a little bit about some of the dreams that some notable people have had throughout history. And today we'll be going in depth in just one of those examples. We'll be talking a little bit more about René Descartes. René Descartes was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist. Some of the dreams that he had in his life are quite extensive. So this will actually be a two-part series, I guess you could say. We'll do this first video today where we talk about the dreams, and we'll talk a little bit more about his legacy and what he accomplished in his life in the next video. Without any further ado, I will jump right into these dreams. Pardon my memory's not quite that good, so I'll be reading off of this handy memory helping device right here, also known as a phone. Descartes had these dreams in November of 1619, so almost 400 years ago. He was 23 years old at the time, and he was a soldier staying in the house of someone he didn't know. He was stationed there. It was a really, really bitterly cold night. He was heating the room that he was in with an oven, and it was really, really hot, and at one point he had been reading, but he put the book down and went to sleep, and he had a really, really strange series of dreams, so I'll be reading those for you today. Descartes was walking in an unknown street when suddenly ghosts appeared in front of him. Terrified, he wanted to flee, but he felt a great weakness on his right side. He leaned to his left to be able to advance. And so he was walking in this really strange position, but he was embarrassed about it. He made a tremendous effort to stand upright, but a wind suddenly made him spin 3 or 4 times on his left foot like a top. So he was spinning like a top. Eventually he stopped spinning and he forced himself to continue to advance. The position of his body was making walking really difficult. So with each step that he took, he felt that he was going to fall. There was a college in front of him and the door was open. It appeared in his path and the door was open. He entered inside thinking that he would find refuge there and perhaps a remedy for what was ailing him. Then he sees the college church and he wants to go there to pray. But he notices that he has passed a man whom he knows without greeting him. So he wants to turn back to say something agreeable to the man, but he is violently pushed back by the wind, which is blowing against the church, and it stops him from advancing. At the same time, he sees in the middle of the college courtyard another person who calls him by his name and says to him, "Would you be kind enough to carry something to one of our friends?" Descartes asks, what is he supposed to carry? But he doesn't receive an answer. And then he imagines, for some reason, we don't know why, that it was some sort of melon brought from a foreign country. Descartes continued walking, dragging himself along, and the people that he met, they were walking firmly on their feet and the wind had stopped. Descartes was so unhappy and he woke up. So he comes out of the dream and he's so frustrated by this, he thought maybe some sort of bad genie had come to torment him. So he took time, gave a long prayer, and he eventually was up for about 2 hours and he fell back asleep and had another dream. He heard a really, really sharp noise, which he thought was thunder. And the fear woke him up. When he opened his eyes, he saw sparks from the fire scattered in his bedroom, but he wasn't worried about it because that had happened many times before. Sometimes the nights where he would be staying in his room, the sparks were so bright that they would allow him to see, the other objects around him. So after a little bit longer, he falls back asleep and finds himself in another dream. So in front of him on a table, there was a book. And when he opened it, he saw that it was a dictionary. After that, he noticed the second book, and this one was an anthology of poetry. He flicked through it and immediately came upon this Latin verse which said, "Quod vitae sectabor iter." I apologize, my Latin's, a little bit rusty. But that loosely translates to, "Which path in life will I choose?" So he saw this in the book. And then at the same time, a man who he didn't know came and presented him with a poem, which started, again with Latin, please bear with me, est et non, which means what is and what is not. He added that this was an excellent work. Descartes said, "I know. It is in this book of poems. Look." But he opened the book and was flicking through the anthology in vain. He couldn't find the poem. So he took the dictionary and noticed that some of the pages were missing. He exchanged a few more words with the stranger, and then suddenly the books and the man disappeared. So when he woke up, Descartes was really, really troubled by these 3 dreams, and he thought that they had to have been sent to him by heaven. And so he started to try to find out what these dreams could mean. And from here, it's to be continued. Just to kind of conclude, in the first dream, René Descartes was walking and he couldn't walk properly, so he was really frustrated by this. He kept getting knocked around by this really, really strong wind. The second dream, he heard really loud, sharp crack which he took to be thunder. And then in the third dream, there were these two mysterious books, a book of poetry and also a dictionary. And in them, he saw in the Latin, which path of life should I choose? And also he saw the phrase, what is and what is not. So pretty mysterious dreams. I don't know, do you guys have any thoughts on what they could mean? Maybe you guys know a little bit about Descartes and kind of the path in life he ended up choosing, so maybe you could come to some kind of conclusions about that. But we'll talk more about that in the next video, what he did, and kind of see how these dreams might have played into the path that he took for his life. So thank you guys, and we'll see you very shortly.